Hello students, today we will be talking about food service establishments, the origins in India, its present status, the characteristics of establishments as well as their classification and the types. We shall start with the origins of food service establishments in India. India is a country of rich tradition and culture where people believed in gathering in large numbers to celebrate the festivals, fairs, birthdays, marriages and religious carnivals, and they still do. All these events are organized for achieving a sense of social and emotional satisfaction. Now, none of these events are complete without feeding. Now, feeding is an integral part of both happy and sad occasions whenever people gather in very large numbers. Now, in earlier days, community kitchens were maintained where cooking for people in large numbers was carried out by the people themselves. A few men and women would volunteer to cook, and thus large quantity of food was cooked by way of collective work among the people themselves. Now, religious places like temples, churches, mosques and gurudwaras too used to maintain kitchens and still do for large scale cooking, food preparation and mass feeding. Now, these religious places also catered to the food needs of travelers who travelled long distances for education or in search of jobs. Now, this is to say that the concept of food service is not new to India. Now, food is being cooked and served in large scale from several years. Now, in olden days, barter system existed where goods were exchanged, grains, vegetables and fruits were produced locally or procured from neighboring villages. Cooked food was not sold in the market, but on the other hand, the food was served. In India, Annadan, donating food, is considered to be the highest level of donation anyone can do, since it is the only one that can give the complete satisfaction to the receiver of the donation. The concept of profit-oriented public eateries slowly crept in during the early 50s with the introduction of hotels. Now, these hotels are the first examples of institutionalization of food service in India. The hotels catered to the daily food needs of the men who stayed single by virtue of job or education. Now, regular food was served in the hotels on payment of money. Simultaneously, motels, dhabas, sweet vendors, snack sellers, street food vendors also came up in an unorganized sector. The hotels began catering food for families who were traveling and later evolved into casual dining restaurants to serve those families who wanted to eat food away from home. However, eating food outside the home was never encouraged in traditional Indian families. Now, there has always been an upward mobility in the growth of food service institutions in India, and presently the food service institutions transformed from supply oriented business to demand oriented business. Thus, fine dining restaurants, takeaway services, specialized snacks and sweet outlets, tiffin centers, curry points and roti points are booming. Food courts and food hubs have come up so that the people can experience the pleasure of having food rather than the pain of cooking food for the family, the woman of the household being the most benefited with the introduction of such food joints. Flourishing of food service institutions was considered as a boon for many women. Now, the food service industry has virtually undergone transition in 3 phases. Now, let us see how it grew. During the 90s, mostly the restaurants and food joints were located in metropolitan cities, keeping in tune with the growth and business activities taking place in those locations. Now, in early 2000, the industry moved into other cities and major towns to align with the rapidly growing economic activity and urbanization. Now, increasing the number of women going out for work and increased disposable income was said to be one of the reasons for this development in food service industry. At present, the types and number of food service institutions are many and are located in every city, town and all along the highway. Food service has become more organized, institutionalized and is geared up for catering institutions like railways, airlines, prisons, educational institutions, hospitals and homes. The food service institutions that actually originated to serve food to consumers who considered it as a necessity are now equipped to serve the consumers who are treating eating out as an entertainment associated with pleasurable dining experience. Now, we move on the present status of food service institutions in India. Now, at present, food service sector is one of the fastest growing sectors in India. It is also the largest revenue generating, employment providing and tourism promoting sector. Trend is now to serve customized food to the consumer. Now, many international global companies are establishing their food service institutions in India, not only in metropolitan cities but also in smaller towns and newer locations. Focus is now on brand promotion too. I will not name the brands because again it will be related to brand promotion. So, the consumers, I am sure that all of you are aware of the various fast food joints in your towns and cities which do not belong to India but it is a multinational culture. The consumers' inclination towards eating out is encouraging more and more companies to invest in hotel, restaurant and institutional, which we call it as HRI sector. Now, in this sector, it is dominated by traditional hotels, followed by 3-star and 5-star hotels and theme-based restaurants. As far as the menu served in the present day food service institution is concerned, the trend is towards serving greater variety, unlimited portions, fixed price, offering a greater dining experience to the people, catering to large groups, incorporating regional flavors and extending takeaway services. Now, convenience and consistency are the buzzwords in the food service industry. Quick service is what the consumer wants and demands, and the industry is all geared up to offer the same. Quick service restaurants are more in demand these days. The dhabas, roadside eateries and trolleys are upscaling the business by moving into organized sector and at the same time retaining their traditional outlook and flavors. The frequency of consumption of food outside the home has increased tremendously. The consumers are also willing to taste new foods. The casual dining, fast food restaurants and coffee shops are growing by the day. Factors which are responsible for emerging food service institutions, let's have a look at them. Now, changing the dietary habits and lifestyle of the people, this is one of the important factor. Availability of disposable income, people earning per month or per annum is increasing every month, every year because of so many other factors, and higher rate of employment, increase in the working number of women working outside homes and more number of nuclear families. Open market is one other reason. Liberal policies related to import and trade institutionalization has therefore taken place in public sector institutions such as Indian Railways, airlines, hospitals and central government offices. Now, corporate catering is also an emerging concept in India, with many multinational companies providing food to their employees at subsidized rates. Now, catering for parties and events is done by traditional caterers who are well established in business by maintaining high standards and delivering high quality food. The multinational players too are encouraged to procure materials from local farmers. Only the ingredients for preparing multinational cuisine which are not available locally are imported, just like certain flavoring material in the various dishes. The raw material availability is in plenty. There is adequate demand potential for food service institution in India, yet the industry is not shielded from certain major challenges. These challenges include, let's have a look at them. First, food regulations and licenses. Second, highly competitive industry followed by poor infrastructure facilities, non-availability of organized supply chain, higher increase in real estate business, shortage of skilled and semi-skilled manpower, lack of adequate number of training institutes, and this is all about the status of catering establishment in the country today. I will follow it up with the types of catering establishment and what are the various conditions which we need to establish the catering business. Now, the food service establishments, the definition, characteristics, and also the types of food service establishments. Now, as per the books, it is defined as a food service establishment as a one which plants, prepares and serves food in quantities much more than what are normally prepared at homes. Characteristics of food service establishment. A wide variety of services are offered in the food service industry, ranging from food, accommodation, beverages and entertainment. A wide variety of food is served in a number of service styles, starting from tea and biscuits to the organization of complete events. The products and services are closely linked with each other and cannot be isolated. Now, the next characteristics about the product offered to the customer requires careful preparation and thoughtful plating to suit the likes of the customer. Now, offering personalized product is the unique selling point of the commercial food service institutions. The same product varies from one establishment to the other in size, shape, color, nutritive value and other sensory attributes. Management of the ingredients used in food preparation requires special attraction and attention, since most of them are perishable items. The sale of food varies from day to day and from time to time. Sometimes there may be less demand and thereby huge wastage of food occurs. Food production cannot be fully automated. The food service institutions have to be dealing with people from varied social, cultural and religious backgrounds. Now, this calls for greater skills in manpower management. Greater efforts are needed for safeguarding food from pilferage, theft, contamination, spoilage and wastage during all stages of production and service. Now, one of the other important characteristics is only some of the products can be pre-prepared and kept ready to serve. Now, some items have to be made to order. This results in the sudden rush of activities sometimes. The capital investment varies with the type of service offered. Fixed costs have to be borne irrespective of the demand. Price fixation is a continuous phenomenon of a food service institution, and this varies according to the season, and also sometimes the same product has to be priced differently to suit the customer profile. Now, costing has to be done competitively and at the same time without compromising on profits. The food service institutions often allow scope for expansion and change. The type of service can be expanded or the nature of service can be altered and so on. So, this is where we are completing the characteristics of the food service establishment. So students, we continue with which explains about the types of food service establishments. Food service establishments can be classified into two broad categories based on the costing measures employed. They are commercial food service establishments and non-commercial food service establishments. Let me start with first one, that is the commercial food service establishments. And the commercial food service establishments aim at maximizing the profits while catering to the food needs of the people. Now these establishments range from a smallest unit like a push cart to the highly sophisticated fine dining restaurants. The nature of the service offered in some commercial food service establishments is described here. Let me start with the first one, that is restaurants. A restaurant is a non-commercial establishment where food is prepared and served to the customers. Now the word restaurant originated from the French word restaurer, which means to restore and refresh. So you can understand right now what is the meaning of restaurant whenever you go there next time. A restaurant offers food, drink and dessert to the customers. Generally, food is served and eaten in the premises, though some restaurants offer takeaway and delivery services. Now the restaurants vary greatly in appearance and the type of service and the menu offered. They range widely from catering to people working nearby with simple food served in simple settings at low cost to the expensive establishments serving refined food and beverages in a highly formal setting. Now in any restaurant, the customers sit at tables. Food orders are taken by the waiter, food is brought to the table and the bill is paid by the customer before leaving. So nowadays many theme based restaurants are coming up. The themes may vary in cuisine or the decor. So this is all about various types of restaurants. Now we go to the second one, that is about bars. A bar, also called pub, tavern or salon, is an establishment that serves alcoholic drinks which include beer, wine, liquor and cocktails for consumption on the premises. Now bars provide stools or chairs that are placed at tables or counters. Some bars have entertainment such as live music, dance or comedy shows. Now many countries are governed by laws prohibiting the entry of minors in bars. Now in India, bars are mostly located in cities such as metros Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad and Goa. The third type is what we call lounges. Lounges are the places that serve alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages along with snacks. Guest houses. These are small establishments that offer accommodation and breakfast. They are normally private homes with less than 10 bedrooms which are offered for commercial use. The owner will take care of the maintenance of the building and preparation of breakfast. Next is hotels. A hotel is an establishment that provides accommodation and food on payment for a short period of time. Professionals are hired for the management of the hotel. Food is also served to the guest all through the day. Food is prepared in an exclusive kitchen and the dining area is provided with tables and chairs for sitting and eating. Now next, a hotel differs from a restaurant in that here you need to understand the difference between hotel and a restaurant. The restaurant offers only food while a hotel offers both food and accommodation. Boarding houses are family homes that are rented for a longer period, maybe a few months or years. The owners of the homes maintain the common areas of the home. Sometimes washing, ironing and cleaning are also taken care of. Now boarders can avail bed and breakfast, that is bed and breakfast only places, and they are also called as B&B. half board, bed, breakfast and dinner, or full board, bed, breakfast, lunch and dinner at the boarding houses. Then comes cafeterias. A cafeteria is a food service establishment where there will be no waiting staff and the table service. The customer has to order for food at the counters, pay and then pick up the food, which we also nowadays call as self-service. Now some cafeterias provide tables for sitting and eating while some do not. The cafeterias do not serve alcoholic beverages. Cafeterias are located in institutions such as schools, offices, colleges, hospitals or in malls and multiplexes. Food courts. This is one of the latest trends. These are cafeterias where multiple vendors set up their counters for selling the food, and these are called as food courts. More often, all these vendors in a food court provide a common dining area for the customers and jointly employ the cleaning staff. Food courts are seen in malls, multiplexes, railway stations and such public places and not in institutions. Now, coffee clubs or coffee shops. This is another trend which started a few years ago. A club is an association of two or more people united with a common interest or goal. Now, coffee clubs serve as counters for social interaction where the people gather, talk, write, read, entertain or spend some time peacefully. The coffee clubs or the coffee shops serve coffee and other hot beverages. They do not serve alcoholic drinks. Snacks such as biscuits, sandwiches and pastries may also be served. Now, one of the important one is called as event catering. Now, event catering is done for events such as weddings, conferences, conventions or any other functions. The caterer prepares most of the food items at their own kitchen and brings the food to the venue. Now, finishing touches are given at the venue. A few items may also be prepared at the venue. The type of service differs with the type of event. For conferences, conventions and political meetings etc., the food is placed on tables for buffet type of service. For traditional Indian weddings, tables and chairs are arranged in rows, people are made to sit and the food is served. Event catering charges on per person basis. Now, next is lunch box catering. The lunch boxes are prepared by the caterer and delivered to the clients. They serve working lunches for the corporate clients. Generally, the orders are placed a few days before the delivery date. The caterer drops the lunch boxes at the client's place and offers no waiting or cleaning services. The food is delivered in disposable, which is food grade boxes, or in food grade plates with partitions. Food carts, or what we call the street food, is a vehicle in which prepared food is taken in mobile carts or vehicle to the point of sale and sold. Nowadays, you will come across many such around lunch time or evening tea time or dinner time dotting the roadside in many metros. The cart may have minimum facilities such as heating source and serving materials, which includes the crockery and cutlery, which may be mostly disposable. Now, non-commercial food service establishments. The non-commercial food service establishments are based on the principle of no profit, no loss. They only aim for fulfilling the basic food needs of the people. In these establishments, costing is done based on the cost of the raw ingredients, rentals, fuel charges, labor charges, equipment charges and any other charges except the profits. That is why the non-commercial establishments sell food at a very reasonable rate and the food is called subsidized food. The food service units located in the following institutions are classified as non-commercial establishments. 1. Educational institutions, government offices, industrial canteens, hospitals, orphanages, prisons, old age homes and sports clubs. Now, these is where we stop with the chapter on food service establishments, where we have covered the definition, the characteristics of a food service establishment and also the different types which are classified as the commercial establishments and the non-commercial establishments. So, let us conclude the lesson on the food service establishments in India, starting from the origins to the types of food service establishments. So, today we have covered what is the meaning or the definition of a food service establishment, its origin in India, its present status in our country, what are the types of food service establishments that we find across all of us, and how the food service industry has grown. I hope it's been very clear to you what I explained today, and it has been fruitful.